I'm Pat Morrison in the world-renowned Moan Broadcast Center. Remember the 2008 Republican convention when Sarah Palin described hockey moms as pit bulls with lipstick? Pit bulls have acquired a bad reputation because they are strong dogs, because they're often exploited by people who think that dogfights are a form of entertainment. But the result is that the shelters for cities and counties across the United States are full of pit bulls. Most of them end up being euthanized. The county of San Bernardino has decided to take a step by passing an ordinance, the final consideration on July 13th, that would require most pit bulls and pit bull-type dogs in unincorporated areas of San Bernardino County to be spayed or neutered. Brad Mitzelfelt is the county supervisor who co-sponsored the bill. Thank you for being here.
Well, it's my pleasure. Thank you.
And we want to hear from you about this measure at 866-893-5722. Across jurisdictions in the United States and beyond, pit bulls have been banned in some cases. Denver has a long and complex history there. France has banned the sale of pit bulls. What do you think of a law requiring spaying and neutering these dogs? 866-893-5722. Supervisor Mitzelfelt, what is it that prompted your ordinance?
Well, we've had actually in San Bernardino County alone 7 vicious attacks this year by pit bull type dogs, and during the past 5 years we've had 4 people that have been killed by pit bull type dogs. And in fact, no other breed of dog has killed anyone during that time in the county, or of the vicious attacks, no other breed has taken part in those. So this really seems to be a problem with pit bulls in the county. And again, it's really not so much a problem caused by the breed. It's really a problem that we see is caused by irresponsible owners and uncontrolled breeding. And so this ordinance is very practical in that it just requires spaying and neutering in most cases of most pit bull type dogs.
So Mr. Supervisor, the state law says that you cannot prohibit any breed of dog. You cannot deem them potentially dangerous or vicious, but there can be breed-specific programs for spaying and neutering to control overpopulation. But you say the reason for your ordinance is because of animal aggression.
Well, it's impossible to ignore the attacks, But I will say that, yes, the law does allow the county, the state law does allow the county to deal with overpopulation of a specific kind of breed. And in this case, we have a breed that last year we had over 1,700 pit bulls in county shelters, and of those, almost 80%, over 1,300, were euthanized. And the code actually specifically says that or the legislative intent says that if the specific breed of dog, if the overpopulation results in mass euthanasia, that you can deal with the population. And in this, I don't know if 1,300 dogs destroyed, it doesn't amount to mass euthanasia. I'm not sure what would.
Anyone who goes to public shelters and sees, as I have, the number of pit bulls who are there who probably have no chance of being adopted, certainly that's a problem. Now, this only applies to unincorporated areas of San Bernardino County, so really how effective is it going to be when all you have to do is step across a line into a city that doesn't have a problem with this and see that pit bulls are still not spayed or neutered?
Well, that's a very good question. Actually, as it turns out, San Bernardino County is the largest county area-wise in the 48 contiguous United States. We are over 20,000 square miles. So we have a significant population of people who live outside of incorporated cities. And in fact, a lot of those people live on large lots and in a rural setting where pets are very popular. And so this is actually tends to be a bigger problem in the unincorporated areas than in the cities. And in fact, 2 of the 3 deaths that have occurred in my district alone in the past several years occurred in unincorporated areas. We also are going to be encouraging our 24 cities in our county to adopt similar measures, and in fact, the city of San Bernardino already has.
We're talking about pit bulls, the fact that San Bernardino County may require spaying and neutering of these creatures in unincorporated areas, partly because of the overpopulation problem, and as you heard the supervisor saying, because of the attacks, some of which have resulted in deaths over the past few years. The PETA organization has supported the measure, the ordinance by the county of San Bernardino, talking about the neglect and abuse of pit bulls. They're often used in dog fights, for example, and how sometimes these creatures are made to turn on people being trained to be vicious beyond what it is they might themselves be. What do you think of this measure? 866-893-5722. Should spaying and neutering be required for breeds like pit bulls? Riley is on the 405 freeway with a question on just that. Go ahead, Riley. Let's see if we can get Riley up here. Are you there, Riley?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead with your call.
Okay, I'm curious why it has to be breed specific. Why can't they require it for all dogs? Because Dalmatians bite kids often, and I heard that they've got a lot of Chihuahuas being turned down too. Why can't they just, make it for all dogs? Why be breed specific about it since it's the owners that are the problem?
Supervisor Mitzelfelt, Los Angeles, the city of Los Angeles requires all dogs to be spayed and neutered with some exceptions, and if you don't, you have to pay a $100 license fee instead of $10.
Yes. Well, my colleague Supervisor Neil Derry, who co-sponsored this ordinance with me, actually has stated that would be his preference. I felt that if we went ahead and looked at our biggest problem in San Bernardino County, it's really an undeniable problem with this particular type of breed, that I thought we could demonstrate the effectiveness of a spay and neuter ordinance. And basically to institutionalize it, to get our animal care and control department used to enforcing this type of law. So it could be an incremental step. We could go on to all breeds. I have not ruled that out personally.
Cesar Millan joins us. He hosts the National Geographic Channel's Dog Whisperer, has written a number of books about raising dogs, and of course he trains very strong dog breeds like Rottweilers. Mr. Millan, it's a pleasure to have you back.
Thank you.
So what do you think of this ordinance?
Well, I definitely promote spay and neuter for all breeds. I don't think it's fair for the pit bull type to be seen as vicious. They're powerful, don't get me wrong. I believe educating human is the key. That's not going to solve the problem. In the 70s, the Doberman was the breed to be afraid of. Eventually, the Rottweiler became the breed to be afraid of. So now we're dealing with a pit bull type. So every time we trying to fix a problem by saying it's a breed issue, humans will jump into another breed. So I think education, educating people is really what's going to solve the problem. The spay and neuter will definitely help a dog, but it won't stop aggression.
And as for these dogs in particular, they are strong, and they are often used for their strength and abused for their strength. But in this case, it's the dogs with all the euthanasia who are paying the penalties, and not the humans.
Exactly. I mean, we kill 4 or 5 million dogs a year, so it's not just the pit bulls who are getting killed. There's many other breeds are getting killed. But at the same time, we have to remember, the pit bulls. My right hand is a pit bull. Petey from the Little Rascals was a pit bull. So it's really going to end up in what the human wants to do with the breed, and it's not the breed; it's the human behind the dog. So I think it's important to emphasize that, not so much to emphasize how dangerous they can be. I think the most dangerous species in this planet is us.
Mm-hmm. Agreed on that point. And pit bulls can be great with the right people and the right training. They're very alpha dogs. Joe in Irvine has a question for the supervisor in this ordinance. Joe, let's see if we can get you on the line. Hang on here. We've got Joe in Irvine. Let's see if we can bring him into the conversation. Let me paraphrase Joe's question. Do we have him? Joe, are you there? No, Joe's question, Supervisor, is how you can enforce this, how you can tell whether a dog is spayed or neutered.
Well, the animal control officers are expert at determining that, and really one of the benefits of this ordinance that I see is that it will give them the opportunity to interact with owners when they see pit bulls being walked, or they see a pit bull in a yard, or when they pick up a pit bull, take him into the facility, and then later release that pit bull. That's a chance for